Hello, 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 hello. Doo-doo-doo. Let's see. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Uh, are we live? Doo-doo. Okay, hi. I think we are live. So, I want to welcome you. Before I say anything else, welcome. Um, I'm glad that you're here. Let me get things kind of squared away. So, all right. Come on, where are we? Um, what's happening here? Okay. Here we go. Fantastic. All right, let me mute myself here. All right, so welcome everyone. So far, there's a few of us. So I am Jimmy Flores. I'm part of the Ironhack team, and I'm going to be leading this live Q&A. And the intent behind this is to help you understand whether or not coding boot camps are scams, what are some of the things to look out for, and to, more than anything, help you get answers to whatever questions you may have. This isn't a sales pitch. I want to I want to help you understand what are the things you should be looking out for when you begin researching boot camps. Regardless of whether or not you decide to choose Ironhack or not, whatever everything that I'm going to share with you will help you better navigate this new process. So this isn't an easy process. It can be confusing. You have so many options, and every day there's more options. So I want to share with you a few of the things that I think you should be on the lookout for. Some red flags that you need to be aware of, so that whenever you begin doing your own research on boot camps, you have at least some pointers on what you can look out for. So let's see. This was scheduled to begin absolutely right now at this instant. So I'm going to give it about a minute or two for a few more people to connect, and then I'll get started. But I would really like for you to engage as much as possible. Ask questions if you have them, please. Don't think that because there aren't questions that people don't have questions. This usually ends up to where everybody doesn't see a question, so they assume everything is clear, and they are a little taken aback to ask a question. So don't be afraid. Ask questions. Leave your questions in the Facebook Live comments below, and I will answer them live as they start coming in. So yeah, the intent of this is to help you navigate these boot camp waters to understand whether or not boot camps are scams. Obviously, I don't feel like boot camps are scams, but we're going to understand what are some of the points to look out for, what are some of the things to be aware of whenever you start shopping around for a boot camp. So I think I will just go ahead and get started. It's 7:02. I expect probably to take about 20 or 30 minutes or so. If you have any questions, any doubts, anything, just go ahead and ask, and I will jump in and we can have a conversation. So yeah, so I'll get started. So, are coding bootcamp scams? Let's just start off by saying yes, some are. Some are definitely scams. Like in all businesses, there are always these unscrupulous people who try and take advantage of someone else. And especially now where, I think lots of people have seen that there is quote unquote business in starting a boot camp, and they feel that because they can, teach someone how to program, then they can build a boot camp, and they start, doing what they can to get people into classrooms. And I think you have to be aware of this. Yes, some are scams, and I would go so far as to say always assume the worst until they prove otherwise. And some of the points that we'll look into right now will help you understand how they can prove themselves that they are not scams. So, um, okay, this is the first point. So, because there's a lot of boot camps and because we need more transparency, there's a group that started that is called the Council on Integrity in Results Reporting. And this group gathers a lot of the boot camps. Yes, Ironhack is subscribed to them as of, I believe, early this year. And the idea is to have transparency across our reporting so that whenever you see, boot camps that are mentioning, specific hiring percentages, or they're mentioning how many graduates they have, or they're mentioning whatever number, that there is this third-party entity that is going in and verifying that the information that the boot camp is sharing with the world is in fact true. So I would say that you should begin looking at this site, have a look at which boot camps are subscribed to them, which boot camps are part of this council, and then from there begin to gauge whether or not the boot camp that you were considering is open at least to possibly being putting up their information and their reporting to be analyzed by this entity. I think it's very important to have organizations like this, and for you to understand which boot camps are and are not subscribing and signing up to be members. So just so you know, this is out there. This is fairly recent, and yeah, I would say try and find a boot camp that is subscribed to this council. So during this process, if you have questions or if you have doubts or if you want to know anything in specific, if you have a comment, if you don't agree, even if you don't agree, please leave a comment. I would love to have a dialogue here, because if not, this is just me, kind of throwing things at you, and I don't want it to be that way. I really want to be able to help you as much as possible. So yeah, so I'll keep going. This first one was kind of the foundation, but there is this council. And then the next point is do research the boot camp. So doing the research in the boot camp involves going across a lot of different areas. So the first two you have are course report and switch up. And these two are foundational when researching a boot camp, because they will help you. Basically, they are review sites. So previous students of a boot camp will go in and leave a review for the boot camp that they attended, and they will leave their ideas, their thoughts, their feelings on the whole experience, from the teachers, the students, the installations, the material, the projects, the staff, how they were treated, whether or not the boot camp met their expectations. There's a whole bunch of information that you can get from course report and switch up. And I would say all the boot camps that you're looking at, including Ironhack, go to these places and read their reviews so that you can begin to understand the sentiment and the feeling of previous students. This is absolutely essential. And if you know anyone that has visited, that has attended a boot camp, please encourage them to leave a review, or to link or to send you a link to their review. That's extremely helpful. So I would say first begin by researching the boot camp across course report and switch up. It's essential to getting this first brushstroke on what this boot camp can possibly offer you based off of the experiences from alumni. Next up is Quora and Reddit. Quora and Reddit are fantastic because they're very social platforms. So that means that people that have questions about boot camps, for example, like yourself, you could right now go to Quora or go to Reddit and write a question that is, are boot camps worth it? Which is the best boot camp? What boot camp should I attend in Miami, in Paris, or wherever you live? And random people will give you their opinions. And this is very important because a lot of these random people will tend tend to be either founders of boot camps or students and alumni of boot camps. And in all of these platforms, we cannot game these reviews and these opinions and these comments. Basically, the things that are published here, you can be for certain that they are as close to the truth as can be. So on Quora, you can find lots of questions from just general broad questions on like boot camps, whether they're worth it, all the way down to very specific questions on whether such and such boot camp is good or not, whether or not the boot camp met expectations. So there's a lot of conversation that's happening between alumni and potential boot campers. Reddit is fantastic as well, because on Reddit you will have there's gigantic threads of comments, and I think in general the sentiment is overall positive. So I would say that whichever boot camp you're looking into, try and make sure that they absolutely have reviews on Course Report and SwitchUp. If they don't, that's a gigantic red flag for a scam. You really don't want to deal with a boot camp who hasn't been around long enough to have a few dozen, at least a few dozen reviews on Course Report and SwitchUp. And ideally, if you're considering a boot camp, then you would ideally want them to have questions being asked about them on Quora and Reddit. It's fantastic if the boot camp that you're looking into, other people have asked questions and they have generated conversation around Quora and Reddit. So that would be a great indicator to a boot camp not being a scam, whether or not they're present across all these platforms. So this is part of doing your research on the boot camp. I think your one of your main obligations is due diligence. You wouldn't go and buy a car without shopping around and without reading reviews and without test driving it. You should do the same with the boot camp. You should read reviews, visit the campus if you can, and really get a feel for what people have experienced in the past to have an idea of what you could possibly experience in the future. All right, so next one. And again, please leave your comments or your questions in the Facebook Live chat box below, in the comment section below, and I will answer your questions live while we're on this stream. Next up is talk to alumni. I think this is one of the most overlooked points because you have easy access to alumni. Go to LinkedIn, search for the boot camp's name, and look for the people that are proud enough of the boot camp to put it on their LinkedIn, and then reach out to them, connect with them. Send them a friend request, and start the conversation off by, hey, I'm considering going to, say, Ironhack. What's been your experience? Would you recommend it? Would you not? Were they able to help you in the goals that you had when you signed up? How well did they do? How well did they treat you? Did you like the campus? Etc., etc., etc. Have a conversation and get a feel for whether or not this is a place that you would want to be in. Because one of the big ways that you can avoid scams is talk to other people as well. Not only read reviews, but also talk to people that are on LinkedIn, which you can reach out to. And this is really easy to do. You go to LinkedIn, you plug in the boot camp's name into the search box, and you're going to have a giant list of alumni and staff. I would suggest that you narrow down your search by only including the schools and the boot camp name. That would be your best search result, because that way you filter out all the employees and you just get a stream of results which are past boot campers in that boot camp. So if you go to LinkedIn and you search for schools Ironhack, you can get a whole list of people that have passed through Ironhack, and you can speak with them. And do yourself a favor, speak to a few, invest some time. This is an investment. You're going to spend a lot of days and weeks of your life in the boot camp that you choose. So please make sure that you're speaking to people that have been there until you get a feel for the whole vibe that you're going to get into, and they'll be the best ones to speak of whether or not it was a scam to them. So also keep in mind that things can sometimes be very biased. So that's why you want to speak to several people. Let's say you speak to 10 or 12 people, you have small conversations on LinkedIn with them. If out of 12 people, 9 say it was fantastic and 3 or 4 say that they weren't too happy with it, that's a pretty good ratio. Obviously the more positives the better, but also keep in mind that no one will always there's no boot camp that will make every single person happy all the time. So always keep in mind that there will be some negatives, but what you want is the right proportion of very few negatives to a lot of positives. So speak to alumni. Do not be afraid to reach out to them, because they've also been in your same situation. They know what you feel. They know the questions that you have in your mind, and they will be able to help you. So talk to alumni. Next up is speak with the staff. I think this is absolutely fundamental because you can get a feel for whether or not a boot camp is a scam depending on the staff that they have working for them. You can get an idea for the passion that they put into the work that they're doing. You can get an idea for whether or not they're full-time employees or whether they're just kind of there floating around and they're not really engaged with the boot camp. So do yourself a favor, apply to boot camps, ring them up, have them ring you, have a conversation, share your goals with the person on the other end. Share your goals, and if they respond in a way that you feel is respectful and is appropriate and with interest, and they try and help you understand whether or not that boot camp is the right one, then I think you're doing yourself a fantastic favor in weeding out scams. Because when you speak with staff, you'll get one thing extremely clear. I would say be very wary of any boot camp that is pushing you to pay and to sign up. Be very wary. We at Ironhack avoid the hard sell. We are here to help you understand the experience of the boot camp, the value of a boot camp, the potential it has in changing your career. But at no time are we pushing you to buy and to make a purchase and to pay a deposit and to do that now. We don't do that because we don't like it when it happens to us. So we like to respect people when they're in that process. But when you speak with staff, you can get a really good idea of how you can expect to be treated, whether or not they're there because they want to be there. And you get a really good feel and a really good vibe when you speak to the staff. So boot camps that are scams, frankly, you're going to speak with people that are more interested in not speaking with you than in speaking with you. And then if you speak to people from another boot camp or from a boot camp and within 5 or 10 minutes they're trying to sell you a boot camp, red flags. Be very careful. Be very careful. So yeah, this is a considerable investment, and do your due diligence. Speak to as many people as you can, and especially speak with the staff. If you can go visit the campus, please, by all means, do that. For example, Ironhack in Miami, Madrid, Barcelona, and now in Paris, open door policy. You don't have to have an appointment. You can come and walk in, and anyone on the team will be glad to speak with you. If someone's busy, someone else will jump in. We're not. You can speak to people here, and I think that's a fantastic thing. So do that, because you're going to spend your life with not only with your classmates, but you're going to spend your life with the staff as well. So try and get a feel and a read for the people, the quality of people that are there. Okay, let's keep moving on. We have about two more left. So, if you have any questions, please, I'm here to help you. I'm reminding you to jump in, leave your questions, leave any remarks, whether you agree, whether you don't agree. If Let me know. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Leave in the comment below your number one goal for considering a boot camp. What is it that you want from your life that you feel a boot camp can give you? What are you doing in your life right now that you don't enjoy? And tell me what it is that you don't like and what it is that you want, that you think a boot camp can help you with. Because I can help you understand whether or not those expectations are realistic. So when you speak with staff, we also help you understand whether or not the expectations that you have and the requirements and the demands that you might have from a boot camp, whether or not we can meet them, because we might not be able to. And at least in Ironhack's case, we'll tell you, and we'll probably even point you in another direction for some other educational resource. So please speak to us. We're happy to help, and any boot camp worth their weight will also be, you know, anxious to speak with you. Next up is partnerships. So I think this is a really big one. New boot camps, scammy boot camps, not synonymous. New boot camps are not scammy boot camps, but let's say that consolidated boot camps that have been around for several years, boot camps that have done things well enough to grow, to have multiple campuses, to have hundreds of alumni, to have you know dozens and dozens of reviews on course report SwitchUp. That is that's authority. But a boot camp's quality and a low level of scamminess to a boot camp also comes when they've been able to have some big partnerships in place. When they've been able to, join forces with another brand, another company, and bring about some fantastic change for a group of people. So in Ironhack's case, and I would say please, for whatever boot camp you're considering, ask them which partnerships they have had in the past. What have they done in the past? With whom? And what was the objective and the purpose of those partnerships? So in Ironhack's case, we have partnered, for example, with Uber in Miami. And in Uber in Miami, we had a partnership to provide scholarships, including a couple full, complete, complete tuition-free scholarships to a few people. Um, in Spain, we had a collaboration with Wallapop, which is a let go company. And again, it was a women's scholarship to help more women introduce themselves into the world of tech, to begin to occupy more technical positions as UX designers and web developers. So we partnered with Wallapop to do this. And most recently, we partnered with ESADE, and ESADE is one of the premier business schools in Spain. It's very complicated, very difficult to go into a partnership with companies like this, with entities like this. And I think one of the good indicators to whether or not a boot camp is a scam is, have they been able to generate partnerships like this? How many have they been able to generate? What was the purpose? What was the outcome? And by all means, look into this, because these are all indicators of whether or not you're looking at a scam or you're looking at something that's on the up and up. Um, so partnerships. This next point is the last point, and one of the I think the I won't say this is the last point, but I didn't want to lead with this because it can be a little misleading. And I'm not saying this just on an Ironhack's part, but across all boot camps. One of the premier objectives of a boot camp is to help students transition into careers within the tech industry, whether it's developers or UX UI designers or whatever the subject matter that the boot camp teaches. So I would say, to determine whether or not, another little element to judge a boot camp is, where are their graduates working? I would take this with a grain of salt because a lot of boot camps have been known to, fiddle with this a little bit, and there's some weird stuff that's been happening. But at least in Ironhack's case, and just to establish an example, I would say look at boot camps that have been able to place students in reputable companies. For example, you can see we have people in Telefonica, we have people in Magic Leap. Magic Leap is a fantastic new company. If you haven't heard of it, they don't even have a product yet, but they're kind of wrapped in this mystique. But we managed to get one of our developers from Miami into Magic Leap, and there's a lot more companies. There's a ton of companies that our students are working in. This is just a small handful. There's dozens and dozens more. Every boot camp, we have our own hiring days where we bring in companies, and the intent is to help our alumni find the jobs that they want and find the careers that they want, and to help them transition into this. So I would say, as kind of another little indicator, please look into where the graduates are working in, and that'll help you get a feel for whether or not this is shady or not. Because frankly, I would not want to join a boot camp where they weren't proud of the companies their graduates were working in. If they wouldn't highlight this almost on the front page, be very, very wary. So let's do a quick recap. So yes, some coding boot camps can be scams, like in all businesses, but you have to do your own due diligence. Make sure the boot camp has been around for a little bit, a few years. Make sure that they are part of this Council on Integrity and Results and Reporting. Make sure that they're part of this, at least that they've signed up to be part of it. Make sure that you do your due diligence and you do your research. Look across the review pages and social and forums like Course Report, SwitchUp, Quora, and Reddit. If the bootcamp is present there, that's a really good sign. And if the reviews and the conversation is leaning towards a positive direction, then that's a fantastic sign. Make sure that you speak to as many alumni as possible from the city of the boot camp that you're considering. So if you're considering a boot camp in Miami or in Madrid or in Barcelona or in Paris or wherever, look for the boot camps graduates on LinkedIn. Reach out to them, ask them a few questions about their experience and would they recommend it, and you can get a gauge for whether or not this boot camp is just there to take people's money, or whether it's really there to help change people's lives and help them find the careers that they're looking for. So talk to alumni; it's essential. Speak with staff. I can't repeat this enough. I think that if you're looking for a boot camp, if you're shopping around, make sure that if you can, pop into the campus, speak to the staff. If you can't pop into the campus, get as many people of the staff on a call and speak with them and get to know them a little bit, because you're not only going to be spending time learning, but you're also going to be spending time with this group of people. So make sure that the staff is also they're available for you. And then we have look at which partnerships they were able to get. The better the partnership, the more confidence I would say you could have in the boot camp, because these are not easy things to achieve, and they are good indicators that it's a boot camp in good standing within the city that they're located. And usually these partnerships only happen after you have a really solid foundation, you have a lot of alumni, you have a very positive overall sentiment around your boot camp, because just like you are doing your due diligence, these partners are also doing their due diligence as well. It's so hard to point. There it is. So what else? Hiring partners. Make sure that the boot camp is is proud of where their alumni are working. Um, and all of that is a summary of what are some good indicators to help you understand which coding bootcamp is or is not a scam. So are coding bootcamps a scam? Some are, not all of them. It's up to you to do your due diligence, to do your research in across all the points that we talked about. I would say that most boot camps in on these review sites that have dozens and dozens of reviews, they're a good indicator. I would be very, very wary of new boot camps that haven't been around for more than one edition. I would say, really do your due diligence. If that's the only boot camp available to you, please do your research, because the last thing I want is for you to spend money, go into a boot camp, and have a horrible experience. So I believe wholeheartedly that Ironhack is, to me, the best boot camp. It's definitely, to me, the best boot camp in all the cities that we're in. So if you want to consider us, that would be fantastic. You can speak with us, you can get to know us a little bit. And then here I am going to pin. So in this URL that you're seeing on the screen, this URL would lead you to the information on our coding bootcamp. So you can go and read more about it. And if you're interested, you can decide, you can apply to the bootcamp. So at that URL, you will go to our web dev bootcamp, and you can have a look. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for me. I don't have any questions here being asked, so I assume everything was crystal clear. I'm glad. If you do have any questions, I can hang out for a minute or two and help you. Right now we have an event going on where they're live streaming the Google I/O conference, so that's why we have a little bit of noise here. But but yeah, if you have any questions, I'm hanging out until I see no more little eyeballs left. And if not, then I'm going to sign off for today. So I'll give you another minute. And please, if you have a question, it's the time to ask. Take advantage of this. It's not often that you can speak live in this kind of manner, without any, filter or barrier. So go ahead, ask your questions, and if you don't, then I will be signing off in under a minute. That was fun. I like doing these. I think there's a lot of information that needs to be shared about boot camps. I think that any boot camp worth their salt wants to get as close to you as possible to help you understand what you're dealing with, the options that you have. So yeah. So I don't see any questions. Thank you so much for the time. And if you do have questions afterwards, you can always write into us at hi@ironhack.com. Go to ironhack.com and look over our courses. If you apply now, you will immediately download the course syllabus and a student guide, which will give you so much information. So please take advantage of that. And with this, I'm going to sign off for today. And thank you so much for sticking around. And until next time, if you have any questions or doubts on coding bootcamps, please ask us, direct message us. You can send us Facebook messages, email us, call us, pop into the campus, anything to help you out. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thank you, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.